Hey, what's going on, folks? This video is going to go over the installation of the AUDEXEN tail lights for the Jeep JK. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I was looking for some tail lights to replace the OEM tail lights on my Jeep, and there's a lot of different variations out there, a lot of different cool looking ones, but these I came across that got my attention. One is they are a good looking tail light. Let me see if I can get it out of here. All right. I went with the smoked lens version. Yeah, I think it looks pretty badass. The other thing that caught my attention was the reverse lights. They say they have some really good high-powered reverse lights on this, so I figured I'd give it a shot. It looks like what you get is just the two tail light assemblies with a OEM style connector and your wiring instructions. Okay, so if you notice that you're starting to get moisture build up inside the housing here, what you can do is on the back side, you have these two caps here. You can take these two caps off, and this will actually vent the housing. So what you would want to do is take the two caps off, reinstall it, drive around with your lights on. The heat generated from the lights will help the water, the condensation, to start to evaporate and vent out of these two ports back here. All right, so let's get these things installed. Okay, so the only thing you should need to change these out is a number 3 Phillips head screwdrivers. And all you have to do is remove the two inner screws on the tail light assembly. These two out here, they just go into the assembly itself, and they don't go into the Jeep. Okay, so once you get the screws loose, just make sure you don't lose them, because you will need those two to install the new assembly. Just kind of give it a tap like that. The assembly will come loose. All right, so the next thing you want to do is just disconnect the housing here. Okay, so these things are marked left or right. You just look right here, and it'll either have an L for left or an R for right. So what you would want to do is just connect it up to your OEM wiring harness. Put your wiring harness back in. There's a couple of clips right here you want to slide behind the vehicle panel. Push it on and line it up. Take the two screws from your old housing. And just screw it in. You don't want to over tighten these, because you could end up cracking your housing. You don't want to do that. You just want to take it down and get it nice and snug. All right, so once you've got them in, you just want to make sure, like I say, just take them down, just make sure they're snug. All right, so it's installed on the left side, so all you need to do is install the right side and then do an operations check on it. Okay, to remove the tail light assembly you have installed, you're just going to need a number 3 Phillips head. You can either use one of these or a screwdriver, and you only want to remove the 2 inner screws. You don't need to remove these 2. These are just goes into the housing themselves. Okay, you don't want to lose these screws because you will need to use these to install the new housing. So you just want to give it a tap and it'll come loose. Pull it out. You want to disconnect your plug here. Do that by just squeeze it on the tab, pulling it out. Set the old one aside. And grab the new housing. Okay, so your new light assembly will have either an R or an L here, which will tell you which side of the vehicle it needs to go. So then you just want to reconnect your connectors. Make sure you hear that little click. Put the wires back inside the housing. And then here you're going to see it's got 2 little clips here that'll go in behind the panel. Oh. Okay, once you get it lined up, you just slide it outwards until it goes into place. All right, then you just want to take your 2 screws from the one you took off, put them in. I would not torque it down using one of these. I'll just get them down. You don't want to over torque, crash your housing. So what I'll do is I'll just take a number 3 Phillips head screwdriver, tighten these down. You don't want to over tighten them. You don't want to risk cracking your housing here. So I just take it down until it gets snug, give it a little extra twist, and that's it. So once you've got them installed, the next thing to do is just do an ops check on them. All right, so this is what they look like installed. Again, I think that looks pretty badass. It's kind of similar to the Gladiator look, I guess, except the C's are turned around the other way, I think. But let's take a look at the turn signals. Also, on the side of each housing, you do have the position lights here. They look pretty cool as well. All right, so that's all there is to the installation. I mean, you've got 4 screws, disconnect and reconnect the 2 connectors, and you know, that's it. I mean, it's just simple. It'd take you about 10 minutes to swap them out, I would say. I think they're pretty sharp looking, and we'll see how they work over the next few months. Do me a favor, if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Later.